Hey guys, Half here. So, let's do another one of these devlog videos, shall we? Now, you may remember from the last video that I was going to be doing two different game jams. One was the Pass the Game Jam bonus round, which I did not end up really doing that. That one wasn't... There was no real reason for it, honestly. I just didn't end up doing it. The second one was the Indie Dev Game Jam. Now, the theme for that one was under pressure, so spoilers, I did not actually finish this game. I was going to make a game where you're an AI managing a group of astronauts through a crisis in space. It's something similar to what FTL was doing with its own spaceships. Now, your ship was being hit by asteroids and depressurizing, so you would need to direct your astronauts to repair the ship and manage its systems. Like, the big thing with this one was that you were going to be managing atmospheric pressure, hence theme under pressure. And one other idea was that since you're an AI being tested under emergency conditions, you'd have a time limit to make sure the astronauts were safe. And at first, that time limit would be extremely short, like, I don't know, 10 seconds or something. Something that you're meant to fail for the first time. But as each iteration goes on, you'd get a bit more time, like 10 seconds, then 30, then a minute, until you finally manage to bring them home in one piece, and that time limit, the maximum that you ended up with, would be your score. Problem 1. I wanted to generate random traits for the astronauts, which is something I only really figured out how to do even the basics of after failing at the jam. Problem 2 was that I needed a 2D nav mesh, which is something I didn't really look into until it was too late to implement it properly anyway, because it doesn't come standard with Unity, so I ended up grabbing something off of GitHub. Once I did do that, it's worked out pretty well since then. Now, I decided that even though I wasn't going to submit it for the game jam because I wasn't going to finish in time, it was a good enough idea that I wanted to try and finish it. So now we have this project here. Let me switch. Visual Studio. Let's go ahead and open the room script, see if that works. Now, you know what? That part doesn't matter. I can show that later. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and go through the different features that I have planned here. All right, I've already talked about the time limit. Each round has a time limit to rescue the astronauts. Each round, it'll increase, etc. Asteroids will randomly hit the ship, which will cause air to leak from the vessel. Your room will signal a warning when the ship is about to be hit, so like, an alarm blaring or something. The different rooms in the ship will have various functionality, and they will also have air that moves between them based on which airlocks are open and shut. That part is actually programmed into the game already. The air movement, but nothing makes the air disappear, so you can't really see it. Now, I believe I said this already, but each of the rooms will provide benefits to your astronauts if an astronaut is in them until the room or the astronaut takes enough damage that they stop working it. Like the bridge will give you a chance to dodge incoming asteroids. The med bay will allow your astronauts to heal. Maintenance will have tools that will allow your astronauts to repair the ship more quickly, probably. Let's see, I also wanted to do something with the engines so that you could get to the area where your astronauts are safe faster. Probably an AI bank. The specific details are going to come up later. I know I've got those written down somewhere, but I'm not entirely sure where. And then astronauts will possess randomly generated traits that affect what jobs they are most effective in. Like you might have a guy that's specifically really good at repairing stuff, another at piloting or enhancing the engines, that kind of thing. They'll also have randomly generated traits, flaws, conditions that affect their skills, such as movement speed. Your astronauts will also have a level of trust in you because you're the AI giving them instructions. If that trust falls low enough, the astronaut will collapse and be unable to act for a time. They're having a mental break or something like that. If an astronaut is in a room when that room gets hit, they will take damage and potentially die. Now, some obvious issues with this, obviously. The astronauts, there's only one astronaut. There's only a few doors. The astronauts do not have traits and conditions as of yet. Their animations are very limited. I mean, you saw how jank the walking animation is, but that's also the only animation they have. Already talked about how they'll stop at the sealed door anyway. Let's see. Got a bunch of airlock. Oh, there's the room list. Let's see. We've got the bridge. We've got life support, med bay, maintenance, AI banks, emergency O2, engine room, center left, and bottom. I don't know what I'm doing with those 3 rooms yet. So yeah, that's what I've got going so far for cabin losing pressure. Let's pull my document back up. So yeah, that's what I've been working on so far. Let's see. For Project Momentum, I only really did some stuff for that like at the beginning of the month. I finished the skeleton of an ability system. I just now need to integrate it more fully into the combat state machine and assign abilities to various characters. Ability behavior list with an ability now accepts newly added behaviors in the inspector. I can't show you the code, so there's no point talking about that right now. There's probably a better way to do this than what I have set up, and I did think of I could have abilities acting as their own prefabs with different scripts specifically for things like damage or healing or redirect or stuff like that. And I think that's what I might end up doing. Have game objects that are built to do this kind of thing. So, yeah, that's what I've been up to for the last month. Thank you for watching. I will see y'all later. I hope I didn't forget anything, but if I did, it'll be in the description. I will also put the 2D nav mesh in there unless I forget.